So welcome friends. In this video I am going to talk about basic project management interview questions. I am going to talk very basic things, and this is a video series which I am going to cover everything about the interview questions which will be asked during about project management. Right, this is the first series in it, actually the part 1, where I will be covering around 15 questions for you to prepare yourself for the management interview questions. So let's move on to the questions. First of all, the first question would be, what is project management? The project management is all about instructions or steps to guiding a project from beginning. We call it as initiation to closing the project. The whole set we call it as a project management, right? So let's know about the project. So what is a project? What are the characteristics of a project? A project is a temporary in nature to produce a unique product or a service or a result, and it has a definite start and end date, and which is progressive in nature, right? So every project which is having a definite start and end date, and it is having a unique purpose as well, like what you are going to achieve. Are you going to implement some product? Are you going to deliver some services? Are you going to deliver some of the results out of this, where everything will have its definite start and end date in it. So let's talk about some people may ask, can you tell me some of the examples of a project? So I listed some of the items we call it as a project. The installing a new subway system, where it will have its own detailed process or steps from the beginning initiation phase to the closure of this new subway system. Or it could be a training your office staff, where again it will have a detailed plan, right? Where to start, who to start, how we are going to give, who is going to give, right, with the milestone in it, like when we'll be covering some topic, the next topics or something like that. So it will have its own end start date and end date, and we call it this as a project. Even another example, on your blood drive in your office, even that can be considered as a project. Even building your house, that can also be considered as a project. Having a dinner project where you'll be putting a detailed plan in terms of the cost, or in terms of transportation is required for your employee to move to the dinner party, or what are the events being planned during the dinner party. So everything will be considered as a detailed milestones, and it will have its own definite start and end date, and this is also called as a project. And designing a sales campaign, right? Here this is also one of the examples. You can call it as a sales campaign. And move to a new office. So moving to office is also one of the example for projects. So then what are the examples for non-projects? So here I could give for example, like preparing a memo. It is very simple and old. Meeting, it doesn't have any milestone in it, it doesn't have start and end date in it, right? Designing a sales campaign, right? Move to new offices, right? So these are all not new offices. So let's understand what are the components of a project. So basically there are 3 components involved in any project. One is a scope, a schedule, and resources. So all these are dependent on it, right? If there is a scope increases, your schedule increase, and your resource also will increase, right? And if resource increases, everything is dependent, interdependent, you can say. So basically every project will have scope, schedule and resources met. You can refer this section here. So next question, if you can give 5 key elements for a project success. As a project manager, what are the 5 key elements which you believe in yourself that project would be successful if you follow that? According to me, you have to be very proactive in your nature, and you have to seek every minute information to become a project successful. And as a project manager, follow diligently the project plan which has been prepared and approved from all the stakeholders. And third is involve all the relevant stakeholders of the project. Do not ignore or neglect any stakeholders who are part of this project and influencing the project. And also voice out all the issues or risks which you foresee during the course of the project, and seek the help from all the relevant stakeholders. And the fifth element is ask questions. If you have any questions in your mind, or if you have any doubts in your mind, do not hesitate to ask questions to all the stakeholders. Get the answers that would help us to define the project in a very effective manner, and also encourage other team members to do the same as well, right? So I think according to me, these are the 5 key elements for the project success. And as a good project manager, I feel there are 3 important characteristics or traits you should have it. One is you should be a good leadership skills you should have, and good communication skills you should have, and time management skills you should have, right? I think according to me, these are the top 3 skills which you require as a project manager. And as a project management, so there is a 5 process being involved as overall project management. So it starts with initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and close out. So these are the 5. If someone asks you, tell me how many process being is there in the project management, you can call it out. You have 5 processes being available. It is well defined processes. I will list it out here. And let's go to the milestones. So basically, in a project plan where we will give details of the milestone for every subtopic, where we'll mark as some of the symbols in it, where something we are going to achieve, where very important milestones to be achieved. So from a given timeline, maybe let's say if you have 10 items to achieve, that means you will have 10 milestones, and every small pieces which you are going to achieve, we will call it as a small milestone, and where it will produce in events. So it is called as an event milestones. And critical path. The critical path is one of the longest path from the beginning to the end, which is a very important element in a project plan. And we have to be very careful when we're watching the project success, and this is a crucial path we have to be looking to all the time. So what is risk? The risk is an uncertain event that may have a positive or negative impact on the project objectives. Basically, when you are putting a plan, or when you are executing a plan, or when you are on the way on the project executions, you should always look at the risk is involved in as and when you move on in the project, and see what are the risks you have to list down all those risks, and also come up with the mitigation plans in it, that would help the stakeholders to assess whether we can complete the project on time, or is there any additional support is required, right? Hence, risk is always good to highlight and identify very well in beginning phase. And issue, as and when you are in execution phase or in any phase in the project, you may come across the many issues in the project that could impact your project objectives, and you should highlight those issues and come up with the action plan how we are going to resolve these issues, right? And this is one of the crucial aspect in the project management. And we talked about stakeholders. The stakeholders is nothing but it could be individuals, or it could be organizations, or it could be an entity whose interests are affected by the business, and these are the influencing people who are for the project. I could give some of the examples, like stakeholders could be your investors who fund the money to this project, and who could be employees as well who work on this project, and as well as customers and suppliers as well. And I could see these are some of the examples of the stakeholder. So what is CAR? And this question most frequently asked in most of your interview questions. CAR is nothing but root cause analysis, right? Where you have to identify a problem and perform a root cause analysis for it, right? And normally we use fishbone diagram is one of the way of doing a CAR, right? This is mostly used term in any project management. I think I covered the 15 project management interview questions in this video. So we'll see you in the next video in the same series, where I'll be discussing on very basic questions on the project management. Thanks all. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and if you like it, please like this video and share with others who is also preparing for the interview. Thank you for watching this video once again. Thanks a lot. Thank you all. Bye.